Hi, remember me? I doubt it. In this video, I want to tell you the story of how the wizard Liz's video helped me to accept my autism. I don't honestly remember which one it was, but as in many of her videos, she was talking about self-worth and self-acceptance and all that kind of stuff. And there was one fact that she named which just blew my mind. And the fact was that the chance for you to be born is 1 to 400 something trillions. I was in such a disbelief, and I rechecked this information in many resources. And when she was actually close to the truth, from the other perspective, the chance is closer to zero to that number. And the reason for that is there is not only statistical chances, but also the chances of fate or the destiny. For example, my parents could have never met and never get married and never have me, or they could have another child. I know that my mom had several miscarriages before I was born, so there is a massive chance that I would have been never born. And once I realized that, the gears in my head started to roll and work very intensively. And because of that thought, I started to reevaluate all of the things that I know about myself, that I know that are true, and those that aren't. And when my diagnosis was confirmed, the seed of that plant, this thought, was already planted in my brain. The thought of people, every single person, being so unique that there is no way that anyone in that world doesn't belong. What I mean by that is that there is no chance that the world doesn't have a space for you, because the chances for you to be born were so low. And you specifically can have and can take up as much space as you need. Because for some mysterious reason, you specifically, by the highest powers or whatever that is, you were chosen, or like you were sent to be here on this planet and to be alive and to be human, not a frog, not a cat, but a human. And considering the fact that chances of being on the autistic spectrum are even lower than just being born, then the audacity that you are allowed to have is even higher. So you have even more rights to take up as much space as you want, because your needs are even more unique. And the thought was boiling in my head for many months or even over a year. And recently, I was like, okay, I need to test it out. I need to see if I actually am allowed to take up as much space in this world as I need. But I'm actually testing it every single day, but this case was very specific. It was a day where I went to the mall with my girlfriends, and we went there specifically for this one store that was opened very recently. And when we came here, by the way, the route was very long. We traveled there for like over an hour, and it was on the other end of the city that where we live. And when we came there, we realized that there is a huge line of people, of other women and men, waiting to be let in, because this store is not so big. And of course, the employees there are obligated to manage the crowd, not to make somebody feel uncomfortable. And I think that there were like over 30 or 40 people in the line. And we came there specifically for that store. And my friend said, "Oh, I'm not doing that. Like, I'm not standing in this line, and I don't want to spend my time on it. It's not even worth it. Like, it was just a silly idea." Where I was like, okay, I went out of the way uh, to make it happen because the commute there was so tiring for me, and I need like those special aids to accommodate me when traveling somewhere. So it was very exhausting, and being in the mall was also pretty exhausting. So I was like, okay, I don't mind, but I'm gonna stay in the line because I went specifically for that store, and I'm not probably ever gonna come back to this fucking mall um, to have another shot. I just don't want to. So I stood in that line, and after 2 minutes, I was like, okay, I'm getting super overwhelmed. People are so close to me. There is a wall on my right, and there is my friend who's standing with me from my left, and from both front and back, I have more people breathing into my back. And obviously, the mall is loud and crowded, and it's getting hotter and hotter in there. And I realized that I'm starting to stim. And at that moment, I remembered that in Sweden and the Netherlands, you are allowed to ask for special accommodations if you have such issues, or even something else, some other kind of disability. And I was like, what if I can check if they allow me not to stand in the line and just get in, take whatever I need very quickly, pay for it, and leave? I told it to my friend, and she was like, that's embarrassing. I'm not gonna do that. If you're gonna go, please do. Like, good for you. But I'm so ashamed. I'm not gonna do that. And I'm sorry, but I cannot support you in it because I'm super embarrassed. So I was like, all right. And the language that we speak here is still foreign to me, and I speak very little of it. But I took all the courage I had and went to this lady saying that I'm really sorry, but I have autism and it's very hard for me to stand in the line. Can I please come in now so I don't have to wait? And her reaction just made my day. She said, "Of course, my dear, come in." And she gave me the card. Um, and I didn't expect that. I was like, oh, really? I went in, I took everything I needed very quickly. Like, there's just a couple of notebooks and a pen. And uh, there was another line by the cashier, but she was looking after me the whole time. She was like looking at me, checking if I'm okay, showing me some signs and smiling at me. And I was like, oh, that's so sweet. And I had such an overwhelming wave of emotions because I was a little embarrassed to admit that I need special accommodations, but also so grateful that she was so helpful about it. And when other people in the line notice that I'm struggling with stimming and trying to like take deep breaths in and out, uh, people were also very supportive. They were like, "Oh, please give this girl some space. She needs a little more than we do, and just like please step back a little." And it was so unexpected and so nice. Uh, I was trying to hold my tears because yeah, I was about to cry because it was so sweet and embarrassing at the same time, but more sweet than embarrassing. And I want you to understand that this was the challenge that I gave myself, and I like the test that I gave to the world. Like, am I allowed to ask for as much as I want or for as much as I need? And this was my answer. This was my sign, like that I absolutely do belong everywhere I want to go, and I can take as much space as I want, and I am my main advocate, and I need to advocate for myself, and I need to stand up for myself. And if I don't verbalize my needs and wants, I will probably not get it, but if I do, there is a big chance that I will. And I will be happier, I will feel better about the world, and I will just be so much more fulfilled and can give back to the community where I live. And the woman that let me in, she came back to me for the second time and she asked if I want to go faster through the line so she can ask other people to move and let me go. But there were only two people before me, so I was like, no, it's fine. But she helped me with my cart a little. She said like, okay, okay. She was so supportive and so nice. And like the other lady who was standing in front of me, she was like suggesting if I want to go before her, seeing how in how much of a struggle I am. But I was like, that's okay. And it was so nice. And this made me so happy and so made me feel so seen. And I like started to believe in that idea that every single person here belongs even more. I watched all of the Wizard Liz's video about basically everything. Like I watched all of her videos, but this video stood out specifically because it helped me through the toughest time, and I'm I'm eternally grateful for that, for just this one message that switched my perspective, hopefully forever. And if you are now struggling with something similar or with some other sort of disability or with something that just makes you feel that the world is so unfair and that you cannot express yourself in a way that you want to or need to, or you cannot ask for accommodations or help that you need, the only thing that I want you to take from this video is that if you believe that you deserve it and that you belong here and that you can take as much space as you need or want, you can absolutely get it. If not from the first time, maybe from the second, from the third, fourth time, doesn't matter. But you are your most important advocate. You are your most important person. And there is no other person who will stand up for you except yourself. What my therapist told me once was another thought that changed my perspective. She said, nobody is interested in you having more. Literally no one. My mom isn't interested for me to have more. She's just interested for me to be healthy and safe. Not even happy, it's not that important for her. My friends are, of course, they care for me, but they care for themselves more, and that's absolutely fine and fair and good for them. I'm happy about that. But that also means that if you don't stand up for yourself and you don't ask for yourself, no one will. So you are the only person, the very unique person that was brought to this earth, that was born with such a low chances of you being born. You are the only person who can accommodate yourself, who can stand up for yourself, ask for yourself, anything you want, anything you need. And the world will provide. As soon as you believe that you deserve, the world will provide. For sure, I swear. This was one of the thoughts that I got from her videos, and I'm so happy and so grateful that that thought caught me in such a right moment, and I was able to process it and to accept it and hold it and take care of it as my own. So it absolutely changed my perspective on many things. Yep, that was the video. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my channel. Give this video a like. I want to be heard, and your support can make it possible. If you have any questions or suggestions, leave your comments. If you're wondering why I almost never look at the camera, then give a little thought. maybe you'll figure out the answer. Thank you for watching. Bye.